Hey guys, today we're going to go through some features that you may or may not be using on NFL.com Fantasy. The opponent track is highlighted either black, red, or green. No color or black means they're neutral, green means it's a favorable matchup, and red means it's a bad matchup for your player. If you hover over each one, you'll see it tells you why that's green. So Detroit is green because they give the most fantasy points to the running back position. So, just off the bat, you're looking through your roster, it really helps you to figure out which players have favorable matchups and might be able to put up bigger numbers. And it's just simply the difference of whether or not you're logging in to check your roster via a computer, a tablet, via an internet browser, or using the app on your phone. The app on your phone is very limiting on what you're able to do. I highly recommend you get online and you start looking at all of these features that you're able to use to elevate your fantasy game. The second feature is the player watch list. If you go to the players tab and you're looking through the available players, you'll see this flag here that says add to watch list. Now, once you highlight a player, they're then added to your watch list. Now to get to that watch list, you're going to go to My Team and then over to the right, Watch List. From here, you're just basically able to keep track of a lot of players. Now, if you notice, I do have a lot of players on other teams. You can take those off, but the best feature for this is keeping an eye on players that have suspensions or injuries that you might want to pick up and add later in the season. Tip number 3 is the trading block. Now the trading block, again, is under My Team. Move over to the right and go to Trading Block. And honestly, not a lot of people use this league. I'm the only one who's using this feature. It's a bit of a bummer. However, there are still positives if you are the only one using this feature. So your team should be listed on top, and underneath you'll see a button, Edit My Trading Block. And what you can do is you have a checklist column for players that you want to put on the block. If they're on the block, it means that you're willing to offer this player in a trade. You want to shop this player. You can also check players in the untouchable column. And this is the best feature of this. If one of your opponents in the league wants to go and trade me for Christian McCaffrey, this just automatically denies them. They are not able to make the trade because I have Christian McCaffrey on the untouchable list. So if you're tired of people constantly trying to make dumb trades for your best players, throw them on the untouchable list, and that can be avoided. You can also select on the right trade positions that you're interested in. So because you have players on the block, this lets other players know I'm looking for running backs and receivers, and you can also add a note. So down here I listed I do not want any Jets players. Please don't offer me any Jets players. If other teams are using this, you can look at who other teams are shopping around. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about are alerts. Again, it's under My Team and it's all the way to the right in the submenu Alerts. Now, this is probably one of the best things possible for you if you are not a highly active player, or if you do want to stay engaged with the fantasy league. These are just what's going to give you push notifications, either a pop-up on your browser or a notification on your phone. Alright, so there's two trade notifications. The first one here is going to be if you are participating in a trade, then both teams will receive a notification, both the person making the trade and the person receiving the trade. The second trade notification is for everyone else in the league, letting everybody know that a trade in your league has been approved, and there's a certain time period for you to go on and either approve or veto the trade. Waiver claim button. Anytime that your waivers are processed, that'll let you know if you did get your waivers or if you didn't get your waivers, and that will let you know that immediately once they're processed. League change. Anytime changes are made to league settings, you'll get a notification. The discussion post. Anytime someone posts something in the discussion, me being the league commissioner, I have this on. I highly recommend that as league commissioners, you push the rest of your league to have this notification on unless you're communicating via other sources. My league does use a Discord, so we don't post here that often. However, I do leave it on in case somebody does. Last but not least, this is going to be the most important to everybody, especially the people who aren't heavily involved in fantasy football. This is the set lineup reminder. This is going to remind you to check in and check your roster, make sure everything looks good before it's too late, before your roster's locked in. Very important feature, very beneficial. Awesome reminder if you are a little bit inconsistent on remembering to check your fantasy roster regularly. Alright, the last thing I'm going to talk about is in the Game Center. So if we go over here to Game Center, and then you go down, and this is going to be for the people who are in multiple fantasy leagues. Click My Fantasy Scoreboard. You've got this new window that pops up that's going to actually show you all of the leagues that you're in and what the current scores are between each of the leagues. Now, in each of these is a direct link back to the Game Center, so if you want to click on that, this will bring you back to your fantasy football matchup against your weekly opponent. Last but not least, if you go ahead and click on the NFL Fantasy icon on the top left of your screen, you'll be brought back to the generalfantasy.nfl.com homepage. Once you scroll down, you're going to get into a lot of helpful tools here. They're going to give you sit-em, start-ems, videos on who the top 10 flex players are for each week, a lot of waiver wire pickups. And that's it for my top fantasy tips for the tools that you're most likely not using. Again, these are all things that you need to go online to use, and this is specific to NFL.com fantasy. Yahoo and ESPN are a little bit similar, a lot of similar tools, but the most common thing between all three sources are there are more tools available to you when you go online versus just working through the app. So again, thank you guys for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your weekly matchups, and good luck to the rest of your fantasy season.